Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is the greatest time of the day. From the center of the universe, New York City, it's the main event you've been waiting for. It's time to go in the cage with Cyclone.
And your Messiah has come back. I am back. It is Monday, September 17th, 2018, which means it's raining again. And I gotta tell you, before we even start the show, I'm pissed. Pissed a little bit more than usual because check this out. Most of my bags are not waterproof. In the rain, carrying this thing, I don't want to get it ruined. So I went out and I bought myself online a waterproof neoprene laptop sleeve. And you know what? I'm actually going to show to you guys. This. I mean, it's big, it's beautiful, it's really nice, and it was cheap. And the guy was like, it comes with handles so you could carry it. I'm like, that's awesome. So I get it, and the handles are sewn inside the bag. So if you try to zip it up, it's open here. So what's ever inside your bag is still going to get wet. Really? How about sew the straps outside the bag? I don't know. I'm thinking about either throwing this out or tearing it apart and then re-sewing it myself as if I could actually sew. But yeah, that's what's going on in my life. I want to remind everybody, check out CycloneComedy.com. Check out Psyche Prods on Facebook. PRODZ. Okay? And I want you guys to call in. Be interactive with me tonight. All right? Please? Thank you. 516-945-9099. We're going to be talking just a crazy weekend in combat sports. Boxing, obviously MMA, just wild and wacky this weekend. A lot of stuff went down, and we're going to talk about it all. We're going to have some segments at the end of the show if we still have some time, and hopefully mix in your calls. And we're going to start all this off right after this.
This is Frank Edgar. This is the Barbarian Tim Bosch.
I'm World Series of Fighting undefeated lightweight champion Justin Gaethje.
MMA legend, UFC Hall of Famer, Iceman. Chuck it up. If you got the guts, step in the cage with Cyclone.
Now, if you go back and watch last week's show, the Messiah, the genius, yours truly, told you all at LFA 49 that Gilbert Urbina was going to lose to Sean Bradley. And he did. He lost by unanimous decision, and Sean Bradley is now 9-0, which just goes to show you, you need to listen to me when it comes to combat sports. It's plain and simple. Also on that card, a fellow Brooklynite, Stephen Regman, is now 9-3. He has 8 finishes after he KO'd Will Santiago Jr. at 4:34 in the first round. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll somehow stalk and sneak around and find out where Stephen hangs out at and maybe bring him here. I think that would be good. Obviously, the big, well, semi-big MMA event was Fight Night 136. First time in Russia for the UFC. And a trivia question will be answered. Who got the first win in UFC history in Russia? And that man actually trains one state over in New Jersey. And he also trains some here with on Long Island with Matt Serra and Ray Longo. Mr. Merab, and like Ariel's butchered his name, Luke Thomas has butchered his name, so I'm in good company. I'm going to butcher his name. Merab Devalishi, okay? Unanimous decision over Tyrion Ware. And look, he started off slow and he picked up the pace, and the fact that he actually won by unanimous decision and not by like a TKO or something just shows the heart that Tyrion Ware has. But I mean, Merab is now feeling his oats, so to speak, because after the win, he goes out and he calls out Sugar Sean O'Malley. He's like, Sean, you keep smoking the pot, I'll keep training, and we'll see who wins. So, who knows? I mean, Sugar first of all has the length on him. Sugar has the speed on him. I don't know if that's such a smart move. I mean, all these Russians, all these Dagestanis, they have these wild winning streaks going. But I don't know, something about Sugar Sean O'Malley that might be a little bit too tough for him to handle. Adam Yandev took 2.5 years off away from MMA, came back, should have stayed retired. He winds up getting his first loss of his career to Jordan Johnson, who's now 10-0, triangle chokeout. And then, of course, okay, one of the main stories on the card, and if you know me, if I know you, and you say that Herb Dean is turning into Mario Yamasaki, you're going to get biffed in the head. I hate to be violent, but you're going to get biffed in the head. Listen, Mario Yamasaki and Herb Dean are nowhere near alike. Herb Dean has meant so much to MMA, okay? He has training schools. He has a couple of shows he does. Has seminars he teaches. The guy is 1A right behind John McCarthy, all right? Did he let CB Dollaway get beaten to a pulp? Yes. I don't know, listen, maybe Misha Tate sort of, I don't know, like said, listen, let him get his ass kicked. I don't know. I wasn't there, and you know what? You guys weren't there either. So I don't want to hear you guys saying that he's Mario Yamasaki and he's not a good ref. He's one of the best. Did he let a guy get beaten too much? Yeah. He absolutely did. I don't know. Okay. So, I want to give quick hello out there to my number one fan, Susan Walker. I hope all the doggies are doing well. Don't forget, dial later, 516-945-9099. Benny Rizzuti, Colleen Marie, Mickey G, and Tony Manuelis. Just spread the word. Spread the word of Cyclone, because when all goes wrong in your life, you look to the heavens and there is a cyclone. That's me, your Messiah. So CB did get murked by Khalid Murtsalev, who, by the way, is now 14-2, 13 KOs. I don't think he's going to be in the top 15 when they come out, when the pound-for-pound rankings come out on Wednesday. But I really, really, really... I think that there's now a bubble for him where he's getting to that point where he's going to be in the top 15. What about CB Dalloway? The fact of the matter is, and he's not getting marked a lot. This was, I guess you could say, an anomaly. Okay? But I think he's starting to be looked at as a gatekeeper for the division. Because, let's face it, he's never going to be top 5 again. He's probably never going to be top 8 again. He's on like that 9 to 12 bubble. So he might just be a gatekeeper. Okay? And I'd like to actually thank my cousin Lisa for spreading the love. You should call too, Lisa. Call. Fingers ain't broken. Call. Let's see what else happened. This Russian takeover, I don't know if you guys remember the 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, up until 1980, the Soviet hockey team. Unbeatable. 3 decades, just, you were beat before you got onto the ice against them. That's what these Dagestanis and these Russian fighters are. They got you beat before you step in the cage, before you step in the ring. They got you. And to use a wrestling phrase, there's only 2 things you could do about it. Nothing and like it. Okay? Someone else who might be a gatekeeper, and I hate to say it because he's one of my all-time favorites, Thiago Alves gets beat and by Alexei Kunchenko, who, by the way, is 19-0 now. And Alexei then calls out a welterweight fight against Cowboy Cerrone. Now, look, here's the deal. He knows Cowboy Cerrone is is booked to fight Mike Perry coming up. So to call out someone that's booked is a weak-ass call out. If you're going to call someone out, call out someone that's available. But it would be a huge step up. Look, and Cowboy's the type that he'll fight anywhere, anyone, anytime. He doesn't care. Okay? He did that with Darren Till. Darren Till was that mediocre fighter with not a big name until he called out Cowboy. And Cowboy's like, hell yeah, I'll fight. You want to fight me? Let's go. This time, if Cowboy gets past Mike Perry, and I'm not making my predictions now, but frankly, I don't think he is. I think Perry's going to smash him. I don't think Alexei's going to be able to fight Cowboy because I think Cowboy's going to retire after that Mike Perry fight. I really, really do. Another guy who I like, Jan Blachowicz, got taken down, and I mean, he did more from the bottom on his back than I have seen in a long, long time. Okay, against the returning Nikita Krylov. And he turns around, and from the bottom, he locks him into a Darce choke, which, if you guys know me, if you guys follow me on Facebook and on Twitter, and you go to CycloneComedy.com, you know that the Darce choke is my favorite submission. I like them all, but the Darce choke, my number one choke. And, you know, I'll explain why. I got some time. A classic TV show was Married with Children. Undeniable. Married with Children, one of the best shows of all time. The Bundy's neighbor, Marcy Darcy. Now, when I first got into MMA, I looked at that choke, and it's spelled Darce, all right? But I was kind of like, what if you pronounce the E, it would be Darcy. So I kind of was playing it like it's the Marcy Darcy choke. And that is the reason why I started liking the Darce choke. Now look, I don't want none of you guys to hit me up, you stupid moron, you dumb. It's not a Darcy choke, it's a Darce. Yes, I get that. But the reason why I love that hold so much is because I look at it like it's a Marcy Darcy choke. All right? There. That's why it's my favorite. Alexei Oleinik in the main event against Mark Hunt. First of all, Mark Hunt just kicking the piss out of Alexei's lead leg. I mean, he got both legs, but especially his lead leg. His lead leg was starting to welt up, turn red. And then Hunt nails him with a right cross that it would have put an elephant down. Easily anything would have put me down. But the fact of the matter is, Alexei Oleinik just kept coming after taking that right hand. And he popped Mark, and Mark was wobbled. He goes down after him. He scramble, he finally gets his back. And before the fight, going into fight week, Alexei actually said, now Alexei's favorite choke, because he has 11 of them, out of his 44 submissions, is the Ezekiel choke. And he said there's no way he could get an Ezekiel choke onto Mark Hunt because he has a fat neck. Which, when I first heard it, I got to say, I was like, really? Dude's trying to trash talk? And the best he could come up with is, you got a fat neck? I'm like, you got to take some Conor McGregor classes in trash talk, my brother. But he wasn't able to get, the Ezekiel on him, but he got him into a rear naked choke, and that's how it finished. And obviously, Saturday also, the whole Canelo Triple G Part 2 went down. And before I get into that, there's one fight that was on the undercard that if you guys haven't watched, you got nothing, no knowledge of, got to check it out. Every fighter, whether it's wrestling, boxing, MMA, if you're, as a matter of fact, if you're an athlete in any sport, you're up against competition at this level for a long time and you're plateauing. It's at that point where you step up a notch and take on a much better skilled talent. And if you can hang, you stay there and you plateau and you go up another level, and eventually you go from the minors to the majors. You go from the being a curtain jerker to the main event. That's everyone's progression. Okay? So 21-year-old Alexis Rocha was 11-0. He's one of Oscar De La Hoya's fighters, so obviously he puts him on the card, being an Oscar De La Hoya Golden Boys promotion event. And he was in there with Carlos Ortiz. Carlos is a much better fighter. Pound for pound, he's a better fighter. He throws harder, he throws faster, he moves better. His head movement is crisp. He's just better. So this was a big step up for a 21-year-old. Hell, when I was 21, I was picking my butt with one hand and picking my nose with the other. This kid's in there with top-level fighters. And he had Carlos hurt a couple times, and he actually cracked him in, I want to say it was the second or the third round, and he busted him open over his right eye, and he had a nice-sized mouse above the eye, too. And he stayed there, and in boxing there's a term where a fighter goes through a war of attrition, where you get taught under fire. And that's what Alexis did. He was taught under fire, and he actually came out on top. He won by unanimous decision. So he's now 12-0. So look this kid up. He's a super welterweight. It's a name you're going to be hearing from very, very soon. Within 2 years, everyone's going to know him. But this, at the beginning of his career, is where you latch on and you invest yourself into a fighter. Now, the big elephant in the room next to me, Canelo Triple G. Hello, caller? Caller, you're on.
What?
You're on, caller. Call back. You know what? Do I have to go off on prank calls like Mike Francesa? Do I gotta pull a Francesca that I won't put up with this? Come on, guys. Remember, one of you lucky callers is gonna win a prize. So call. So, like I was saying, the big elephant is Canelo Triple G, and this fight was closer than the first one. Personally, I scored it 115-113, Canelo. 115-113, Triple G. Two of the judges scored it 115-113, Canelo. The other one had it a draw. And I guess if the first fight was a majority draw, I guess I could see this one being a draw. I mean, Canelo ripped the body throughout the fight. He had cleaner shots. He was the more aggressive fighter. And Triple G was more precise, throwing more of a flurry. And towards the later rounds, he came on stronger. Caller, I believe we have you. Caller, you're on.
Hello?
Hello, who are you, caller, and where are you?
Yes. Yeah, I'd like to call on the show.
Yes.
Yes.
You're on the air, caller.
Hello?
Hello, you're on the air.
Where's Cyclone?
I'm Cyclone. Okay, do I really have to pull a Mike Francesa now? Come on. When you're on, ask a question. It's simple. You ask a question, and I'll answer it. And maybe you win a prize. So, try for a third time. Anyway, so there's just more power and volume coming from Triple G. All right. there needs to be a trilogy. Maybe even a fourth and a fifth fight later on. And I don't necessarily, you know what? I don't necessarily know if it should be the next fight because this was an immediate rematch. I don't know if they want to do an immediate trilogy. Maybe each fighter go off, fight someone else, and then fight each other again. Hello, caller, you're on the air.
Hey Jay, it's Susan.
Susan, how are you?
Good.
How are the doggies?
Oh, they're great.
So,
I have a question, but it's about something totally different. Is that okay?
yeah, sure, go ahead.
What's your thoughts on Chuck Liddell coming out of retirement to fight Tito? And what's going to happen with those two?
Okay, well, actually, I was going to bring that up a little bit later, being that I'm wearing my Chuck hat as always. Chuck is my second favorite fighter of all time. I don't want to see it. I really, really don't want to see Chuck do it. Because, look, Tito, up until a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, was active. He trains with Cyborg right now. There is no way in God's green earth, no way in blue hell, Tito can stand and bang anymore. He's been retired way too long. He could go in there with a Joe Schmo like me and drop a guy. Against Chuck, he's not going to do it. And another thing about Chuck that pissed me off. Look, is Oscar De La Hoya doing this whole thing to put a razor blade in Dana? I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, Dana said no to this fight. Scott Coker said no to this fight. Nobody wanted this fight. Okay? All of a sudden, Oscar's willing to do it. And here's another thing that bothers me about it. His name is Chuck Liddell. You know it. I know it. You know it. You know it. You know it. He knows it. She knows it. The name is Chuck Liddell. Go back, watch every time Oscar De La Hoya opens up his mouth. He calls him Chuck Lodal. Really? You pronounce African names, you pronounce Russian names. You can't pronounce Chuck Liddell? It's a disgrace. Now, here's the deal. Am I going to watch it? Yeah, because you know what? I'm going to have to write a story about it, and obviously here I'm going to talk about it. So I'm going to have to watch it. I don't want to, because I don't want to see my favorite fighter come out of the cage like Apollo Creed. You know? And yeah, Chuck is better talking now than he was a couple of years ago. It's like his brain has gone back to normal. But he's asking for trouble. He really is. As a matter of fact, I told him at the big event when I was talking to him, I was like, dude, don't do this. You don't need to. Stop. He's like, no, I could take him. No, Chuck. You can't.
So do you think that he's coming out because he needs a paycheck? Or he really still wants to compete? He looks good. He looks like he's been training.
Yeah, but here's the training for a guy going to a gym hitting the bag is one thing. Going into a cage and throwing down with somebody else who Tito really wants to rip Chuck apart. The only person I think Tito hates more than Chuck Liddell is Chael Sonnen. Okay. It's so not the same. And it's going to be a disaster. Now, honestly, I think this thing is going to get like 2 million. You know what? Maybe a little bit more than 1 million buys. And
Do they have anybody worth watching that's on the card besides Chuck?
there were 2 fights announced, and I don't remember them off the top of my head. But it's not really anything super worthy. If Oscar really wanted to get into the promotion of MMA, and God bless him if he wants to. Look, it gives not only fighters another outlet, it gives people that work in the arena. Excuse me. It gives people in the arenas more jobs. It gives security more jobs. It gives parking attendants and bathroom porters more jobs. So everyone actually wins with more opportunity. You know? Does that equate to it not being just a one and done card? I don't know, because if I was starting a company, and I wish to God I had the money to do it, you go out, you scout the amateur ranks, you pull the best from the best. You go to the colleges, you go to the seniors. What Bellator is doing by signing senior and recent wrestling graduates. Okay, that's the way you do it. You go to a couple of maybe independent wrestling organizations, steal some of their guys. That's the way you cherry pick people from all around. You go to local MMA gyms, say, hey, look, I'm starting Golden Boy Promotions. Who wants to come? I guarantee you go, if Oscar went into a local gym and said, who wants to join my company? Everyone's hand will raise. They'll all raise. It'll look like a Nazi party with hands being raised in the air. Okay? So, I mean, I guess that's that. But it's... If Scott Coker and Bellator didn't want this fight, you know it's going to be bad.
Yeah, that's really sad.
But, like I said, I'm telling you, it'll do 1 million buys. Easily it'll do 1 million buys. So. And you know what? I got some good news for you.
Okay.
I'm going to be sending you another prize.
Really?
Yes. For your constant support, for your questions, for your thoughtfulness, for your hard work, you get a prize.
And I suppose you're going to make me wait to get it and not tell me what it is.
Of course.
Of course, yes. Well,
So,
I got the last one, and it's really awesome, so...
no problem. All right, we will talk with you later.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
All right, bye.
All right, guys, listen. Psyche Prods on Facebook, CycloneComedy.com. We're going to take this quick caller, and then we got to take a break. So, caller, you're on the air.
Hey, Cyclone. Hello?
Yes, caller.
Why are you so fat?
Okay, no nonsense, guys. I'd appreciate the no nonsense. Like I'm saying, we gotta take a quick break. We'll be back after this.
Hi, I'm Jim Miller.
This is Dan Merigliotta.
I'm Derek Brunson.
I'm Nick the Carney Lentz, and you're locked into the cage with Cyclone.
Alrighty, back. Now, callers, don't play that dinginess. I don't want to get aggressive and angry, but come on, callers. Normal questions, please. Thank you. I appreciate it. So, right before the Canelo Triple G fight went down, always the opportunist, whatever, Floyd Mayweather put out this video of him and Manny Pacquiao at a rave. First of all, what are these two old guys doing at a rave? I go to bed normally at about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. These guys should not be at a freaking rave. But anyways, they're like, Floyd's like, I'm coming back. I'm fighting Manny Pacquiao before this year is over. Now look, this is September. It's not going to happen in October, obviously. Had no time to train. No training camp. I don't think it would happen in November. And December, remember, Floyd only fights in Vegas. Floyd only fights at the T-Mobile Arena. December 29th, that arena is booked with a UFC card. Would they do what Bellator has done, have a ring next to a cage? Because sometimes Bellator has done that, Bellator card with Bellator kickboxing. Would they attempt to do that? Because remember, Floyd and Dana became kind of friendly during the whole Conor McGregor, setup. So maybe, don't be shocked. I'm spitballing it. I got no idea. I got no proof of it. I'm just saying it. Maybe, just maybe, that goes down as a double event, Although I can't see the UFC wanting to split with, profit with Floyd Mayweather again. And just remember, why is Floyd coming back? You keep saying you want to be retired because maybe he knows that 50th wasn't really anything more than just a glorified sparring match with Conor. And speaking of guys coming out of retirement, at that card in Vegas at the end of December, Ryan Hill is fighting BJ Penn. And BJ Penn, look, when it comes to December, he'll be out of MMA for 18 months. He's on a 5-fight losing streak. His last 10 fights were 2-7-1. And he was getting smashed towards the end. He doesn't need to come back. He's another one like Chuck Liddell. And I recently saw BJ Penn in the city not too long ago. Looked good, looked happy, looked in shape, looked like he had his wits about him. There's no need to come back. I understand athletes always think they got one good piece left in them. Someone needs to stand here next to a fighter, or any athlete for that matter, and just say, listen, no, you don't. It's done. The party's over. That lady's singing. And here's another guy coming back from retirement. Actually, two. Just announced this afternoon. Johnny Hendricks is coming back. Brennan Ward just retired from Bellator. He was supposed to fight in Connecticut. Retired. Now he just announced he's coming back. He's fighting Johnny Hendricks in, of all things, bare knuckle championship. So Johnny, you got smashed your last couple of fights. And now you're coming back to do a bare knuckle. Really, Johnny? You're not going to be able, you were good taking people down. You were good on the ground. You were good smashing people on the ground. No. Why do, someone has to tell me, call me, 516-945-9099. One of you people out there needs to tell me why these fighters keep coming back. It is nonsense beyond nonsense. There's no need for it. Someone that probably won't be coming back, though, is Fabricio Verdum. Look, USADA just suspended him for 2 years. He is eligible to come back on May 22nd, 2020. He'll be 44. Now, look, Fabricio is basically a bigger, larger version of Damian Maya. For all intents and purposes, that's what he is. Okay. I don't know if after 2 years away, at almost the age of 44, if Verdum will have it anymore. What else is big? Oh, yes! Later this week, the whole Conor Khabib in New York. As a matter of fact, to let the cat out of the bag, I know for a fact Khabib is already in New York. Came in earlier today. I think Conor comes into New York tomorrow. And those are just two nuggets. I'm letting the few viewers out there that do the chase, that do the follow, so you guys now know. And you guys should know at what locations they're staying at. Now, here's the deal. The presser that they're having at Radio City, no public. It's only for media. So you got this big venue like Radio City. And there's going to be 200 media members. There's going to be crickets because Conor feeds off the crowd. The crowd feeds off of Conor. And it's cyclical. Okay? And it snowballs to a crescendo of Conor embarrassing his opponent. He's not going to be able to embarrass Khabib, especially with nobody in there, because you're not going to get oohs and ahs from media. Okay? Now, was I credentialed for this? No. Did I try to get credentialed for it? Mm-hmm. So, I am yet to decide if I'm going to be home watching it, or I too will be doing a chase and follow. But I do know this also. Right after the event, both guys peace outy. Khabib goes back to California, and that's when Conor heads out to Vegas to start training. So, those are the big news bits and pieces for you. Now, I want to remind everybody, keep it right here on Strong Island Radio and Television. Because from 9 to 11 tonight is the My House Show with DJs Snoopy and Cole playing the best house music on this planet. Right here, Strong Island Radio and Television from 9 to 11. Keep watching. Head over to my website, cyclonecomedy.com. You guys know the number, 516-945-9099. Give me a call. We still have some time. And the phone lines are open. And check out the Facebook page, Psyche Prods, Prodz. And when we come back, we got some time to do some segments. So we'll be doing that right after this.
I'm Dennis Bermudez. Hi, I'm Creepy Ian McCall.
Yo, I'm Kelvin Gastelum.
This is Mark Goldberg.
Yo, I'm the world's most dangerous man, Hall of Famer Ken Shamrock, and you're getting tapped out in the cage with Cyclone.
You know, I gotta say, I love the way Ken Shamrock did that for me, but I'm really a Dan Severn fan. Not really too much of a fan of Ken Shamrock. But I got to give him props. He did it for me, and I'm forever grateful for him and for every other fighter that's done liners for me. And I'm thinking about maybe going out, getting some more liners. I don't know. It's It's a lot of hard work, and I don't necessarily know if I want to do it or not. Maybe add some, take some out. I don't know. But on this date, September 17th, Sultan Aliyev was born, who now turns 33 years old today. I don't even remember 33. Scott Jorgensen turns 35. The legend Dennis Kang. God, talking about people smashing people, Dennis Kang could smash people. He turns 40 years old today. Young Tyson Pedro. The Australian sensation, Tyson Pedro. 26 years old. Today. All their birthdays. September 17th. Also, what happened today was UFC Fight Night 15, which was the first time that the company went to Nebraska. And I think they've actually only gone like maybe once or twice more since. Nebraska is not, I guess, really such a great town to go to do a lot of stuff. I don't know. Never been. Nate Diaz won by split decision over Josh Neer. I mean, that was... I remember that fight like it was yesterday, and you know what? Neer gave Nate all he could handle. And you got to give it to Nate. Nate's one of these guys, and everybody knows the sick cardio is legendary. But he very easily could have lost that Neer fight. Also on that card, Clay Guida beat Mac Danzig by unanimous decision, which was easy peasy for Clay. Let's do a spotlight. Now, last week I did a spotlight on Justin Biggs, a boxer who I know, great kid. Undefeated 4-0, 4 knockouts. 2 in the first round, 2 in the second round. So he puts people out. Today's spotlight is a kid that probably none of you know, but I know him. Right now, he's in the amateur ranks. His name is Kevin Conable. He fights for Ground and Pound Promotions, a company that, by the way, I do a little bit of broadcasting for, and I hope to increase that level of broadcasting, doing a little bit more, maybe some play-by-play, maybe some color commentary. But he fights for them, and he is lightning fast. He's in his mid-teens, so he has a long career to go. He does. This kid will be heard from. He is... You know how Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is like really quiet? And him and Sage Northcutt with the yes-some and no-some and thank-you-some. That's what this kid Kevin is. Really, really quiet. His manager said to me before I interviewed him, good luck getting anything out of him. He doesn't talk. 2 minutes into the interview, I realized I had to, pull some teeth out of this kid because he really doesn't talk. But I got some info. And one of the things he said to me was, he doesn't see himself going higher than 130. He's a teenager. As he gets older, his body's not going to stay at 130. We all know about the weight cutting. That guys get older. Guys can't keep cutting all that weight. He's going to move up. I say eventually I could see him being at 155. Maybe 145 is where he would... somewhere between 145 and 155. Those would be the two spots that he probably lands at. He is, like I said, lightning fast. He threw one punch against Mike Kenny. Kenny came back at him. And the fight, which was a K1 fight, which is a kickboxing fight, in case you guys don't know, it turned into a firefight of exchanging shots. And 42 seconds into this firefight, Kevin put Mike Kenny on his buttocks. And the fight was over. So, watch for Kevin Conable. Do your research. I can't do it for you. You have to do it. Kevin Conable. It's Conable. Kevin Conable. It's a name you're going to want to look up. It's a kid you're going to want to follow. And speaking of following, this week coming up, besides the whole Conor and Khabib stuff, LFA 50 is Friday, as is Bellator 205, with the 11-0 rising superstar AJ McKee taking on John Teixeira. Lovato is taking on Salter. Patricky Pitbull against Roger Huerto. And that fight might be fight of the night, honestly. Don't sleep on the Pitbull brothers. A lot of people don't like them, but they're really, really good. And Roger Huerta is former champion. He's not one to be taken lightly. So that one should be a good firefight in itself. There's a couple of undefeated fighters on the card. Adam Boric, Steve Mowry, Jared Trice is on the card. Then Saturday, Fight Night Brazil is on the card, where Evan Dunham is actually retiring after this fight. He's already announced Francisco Trinaldo is going to be his last opponent. And for the 23rd time in 2018, which is sick, a co-main or a main event has changed. Jimmy Manuwa is now out of the main event. So it is now Thiago Santos taking on 6 days' notice Eric, former Alabama linebacker, Anders. And that's the weekend coming up. And you'll hear all about that stuff next Monday. So, as I wrap up, I want to say, once again, check out the CycloneComedy.com website. Check out Psyche Prods, Prodz on Facebook. And here's something. One good caller, a couple, you guys I give you guys, a D-. I'm not giving you guys an F. And I don't grade on the curve, but I give you guys a D-. Next week, let's pick it up, okay? Please. But if you would like to sponsor the show, and remember, you won't only sponsor this show, but you will sponsor the Cyclone Variety Show, which, by the way, tapes this Wednesday. Okay? Sponsor both shows. Worldwide distribution across many platforms. Lots of eyes on your products. Hit me up. Go to CycloneComedy.com. Send me a message and we'll see what we could do. Got a lot of great package prices for anybody that wants to sponsor. Now, I will see you all next Monday right here. Same bad time, same bad channel. Right here in Paradise Studios. Until then, everyone, I'm Cyclone saying, just because you're not an athlete doesn't mean you can't be an athletic supporter. Bye-bye.